Actor Bill Murray once said, "Social media is training us to compare our lives instead of appreciating everything we are. No wonder why everyone is always depressed." We use social media every single day, and it is very popular in ways of getting us connected, getting us opportunities. However, there are a lot of negative aspects to using too much social media. The Child Mind Institute stated that there have been hundreds of studies done that connect a correlation between too much social media time and mental health issues. The Economist did a study with 14 to 24-year-olds, and they had a control group and a group that used social media on a daily basis. And the group that used social media reported negative sleeping patterns, body image issues, experienced cyberbullying, depression, anxiety, fears of missing out, and loneliness in general. And 63% of those that used Instagram reported that they were miserable. Not sad, not upset, miserable. If that doesn't show how much it can affect your psyche, I don't know what does, especially if you use it too often and too much. The number of hours of social media that the average person uses a day has doubled from 2009 to 2015, and there's been an increase in suicidal thoughts and actions in teens. There have been reports that 70% of teens who use social media have reported suicidal thoughts or actions. Um, Everyone is affected by social media, whether you're on it 24/7 or even if you aren't, because people talk through social media, people talk about social media. That's how we communicate nowadays. But there are ways to make sure that you don't fall victim to these negative effects of social media. The best way is to limit your usage of social media. Researchers say that you should only use about 30 minutes to an hour worth of social media a day, and less would be even better. This way, you have less exposure to pictures, ads, or anything else that can affect your mental well being. However, within the past couple of years, the average person uses social media 3 hours a day, and it used to be 30 minutes a couple of years ago, but it's increased to 3 hours a day. And there have also been an increase in mental health issues within those past couple of years. So there is a correlation between more people using social media more often and people being diagnosed with different mental illnesses and issues such as depression, anxiety, body image issues, and more. Melissa Hunt, who is an associate director at the Clinical Training Center at University of Pennsylvania, did a study similar to the one mentioned before. She had a control group who she let use social media as much as they wanted, how often as they wanted, and she had another group which were only allotted 10 minutes per platform per day of social media. So they got 10 minutes of Instagram, 10 minutes of Snapchat, 10 minutes of Twitter, and whatever other social media they use. And people who were in the group who had less time on social media reported that they were less lonely, less depressed, and less social comparison. And social comparison is basically when you go on social media, you see a picture of someone or something, and you're like, why isn't my life like that? Why isn't my whatever like that? But newsflash, even that person's life isn't actually like that. We put our best faces out on social media, but that's all we see. So then we compare our own lives to that and feel inadequate compared to those people, even though we're all equal. So when you cut down your usage and limit your time on social media, you can feel so much better about yourself. You can be less depressed, less anxious, less lonely, less fear of missing out, less social comparison. but there are actually positives to social media. That's why it's so popular. Author Lauren May wrote an article that named a couple positives of using social media, which included us being connected to one another. It aids in creativity. It gives certain people a voice. It builds communities and support for people. So you shouldn't completely cut off social media cold turkey because there are important and helpful aspects to it. However, you should limit your time so it's not overdoing it. There is a happy medium of using social media. So I used to obsess over checking my Instagram feed, checking my Snapchat stories, all that. But after doing this research, it really shocked me and it made me realize that I really do need to limit my amount of time on social media for my own health and well being. So I found some ways, some simple ways, some slow ways to start limiting your social media usage because is hard to just cut it cold turkey completely, especially because our society basically runs off social media. So some simple ways are just turn off your notifications so when your phone's sitting there, you don't see lights popping up and you're not tempted to go look at it. There's this thing called screen time on your phone, which basically is you can set an alarm for how long you're allowed to spend on certain apps or certain things on your phone. So you can set it for like 10 minutes on Instagram. And once you hit that 10 minutes, it'll set on off an alarm so you know like your time's done and you need to get off your phone and go do something else. And also, I personally love this way because it gets other people involved. The no phones at the table rule. So when you're out to dinner with people or just hanging out with your friends or anything like that, you could all just put your phones on the table, face them down, and just spend time together. And to make it fun, if whoever grabs their phone first or gives up first, like has to pay the bill for the dinner or something like that. But it's just a nice way to get everyone involved in limiting and cutting down social media time. So hopefully you learned something about social media usage and how it can negatively affect your mental health and ways that you can better yourself and better your life by cutting down how much social media you use, how much you compare yourself to others, and how much you expose yourself to those things that can affect you in that way. Thank you.